The crystalline spires of New Alexandria rose gracefully against Eden IX's violet sky, a testament to humanity's most ambitious colonial project to date. 3 decades of careful terraforming had transformed the once hostile planet into a thriving outpost of human civilization, home to over 50,000 colonists. The pride of the settlement was its renowned education complex, where children from across human space came to study alongside the colony's own youth. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of colonial administration, watching the morning traffic of atmospheric shuttles weaving between the buildings. After 15 years of overseeing colony security, she had developed an almost maternal pride in the settlement's growth. The latest census had shown a population increase of 12%, with the education complex now hosting over 3,000 students. "Commander," her eye assistant's voice interrupted her thoughts. "We're detecting unusual gravitational distortions at the system's edge. Multiple signatures, consistent with large-scale ship emergence." Elena's expression remained neutral, though her heart rate quickened. First contact protocols had been drilled into every colonial officer, but in 3 decades of expansion, humanity had yet to encounter another spacefaring civilization. "Alert status yellow," she ordered. "Notify Governor Chung and begin preparations for First Contact Protocol Alpha." The ships that emerged from hyperspace were unlike anything in humanity's database. 12 vessels, each easily dwarfing the colony's largest structures, their hulls seeming to absorb rather than reflect light. They moved with an organic grace that suggested technology far beyond current human capabilities. "Incoming transmission," the AI announced. "Universal translator engage." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a being that seemed to embody the same elegant menace as their ships. The Zarketh ambassador, as it identified itself, possessed a form that seemed to shift between solid and liquid, its voice resonating directly in the minds of all who heard it. "We are the Zarketh," it proclaimed. "Your presence has been noted. Your achievement in establishing this colony is impressive. For such a young species, we wish to establish diplomatic relations." Governor Chung, who had arrived minutes earlier, stepped forward. "On behalf of humanity and the Eden IX colony, we welcome peaceful contact with the Zarketh Empire." The negotiations that followed seemed promising. The Zarketh expressed interest in cultural exchange, particularly in human educational methods. They requested permission to send observers to study at the education complex, claiming their own species valued learning above all else. Elena's instincts screamed warning. The Zarketh's interest in their children seemed too focused, too intense. But diplomatic relations were not her domain, and her concerns were diplomatically noted and filed away by the colonial administration. 3 days later, as the colony celebrated the historic first contact with a public festival, Elena's worst fears materialized. The Zarketh observers at the education complex simultaneously activated devices that generated energy fields around each school building. Before anyone could react, the fields began to contract. Multiple energy signatures detected. Elena's tactical officer shouted, "They're attempting to teleport the entire education complex." Elena's response was immediate. "Override safety protocols. Emergency evacuation. All schools. Now." But it was too late. The Zarketh's true purpose became clear as their ships opened fire, not on the colony's defenses or infrastructure, but precise strikes to disable emergency response capabilities. Their message, when it came, was chilling in its simplicity. "Your children will serve as guarantee of your cooperation. The Zarketh Empire requires this world. You have 24 hours to begin evacuation procedures. Resistance will result in unfortunate consequences." As alarms blared across New Alexandria, Elena realized with cold fury that humanity's first contact with alien civilization had become a nightmare. But the Zarketh had made a fatal miscalculation. They had threatened human children, not understanding that there was no force in the universe more dangerous than humanity protecting its young. The distress signal she sent to Earth was brief but clear. "Eden IX under attack." Hostile aliens holding children hostage. Request immediate implementation of Protocol Omega. What the Zarketh couldn't know, was that humanity's apparent technological limitations were a carefully crafted illusion. Behind that facade lay capabilities that had been kept hidden for precisely this kind of situation. As Alina watched the Zarketh ships looming over her colony, she allowed herself a grim smile. They would soon learn why threatening human children was the last mistake any species should make. Admiral Sarah Chen was conducting a routine inspection of Earth's hidden Jupiter defense platform when the quantum transmission arrived. The message from Eden 9 triggered an immediate shift in Earth's military posture, activating protocols that had remained dormant for decades. Within minutes, the facade of Earth's supposedly limited military capabilities began to fall away. Massive hangar doors hidden within Jupiter's atmospheric storms slid open, revealing a fleet of warships that officially didn't exist. These vessels, incorporating technology that humanity had carefully kept secret, represented the true extent of human military power. Status report, Chen demanded as she strode onto the bridge of the EFS Nemesis, her flagship. Stealth fleet prepped and ready. Admiral. Quantum drives spooled up. The Zarketh have no idea what's coming. Her XO, Commander James Martinez, reported. His dark eyes gleamed with controlled anger. Like many in the fleet, he had family on Eden 9. The Nemesis and her sister ships represented the pinnacle of human military engineering. Their hulls, constructed from metamaterials that bent light and sensor readings around them, made them virtually invisible. Their quantum drives, far more advanced than the primitive fusion engines humanity showed the galaxy, could cross light years in hours rather than months. The Zarketh chose their target poorly, Chen observed, studying tactical displays showing the enemy positions around Eden 9. They think they're dealing with a naive species that will surrender their colony at the first threat. They're about to learn otherwise. Earth's response fleet comprised 30 ships, each carrying weapons that would shatter the carefully maintained illusion of humanity's technological level. But more importantly, they carried special operations teams specifically trained for scenarios involving hostile alien contact. Lieutenant Colonel Maya Patel, commander of the 1st Special Operations Division, stood in the Nemesis briefing room, addressing her assembled team leaders. Our primary objective is the recovery of hostages from the education complex. The Zarketh have demonstrated their willingness to target children. We will show them why this was their greatest mistake. The fleet moved through quantum space like shadows, their passage undetectable by conventional sensors. Chen used the transit time to study the latest intelligence on the Zarketh. Their species had a reputation for technical sophistication and tactical precision, but their encounters had been primarily with younger, less prepared civilizations. They've never faced an opponent who deliberately downplayed their capabilities, Chen mused. Their entire tactical approach assumes technological superiority. The fleet emerged from quantum space at precisely calculated points around Eden 9, their arrival masked by the planet's magnetic field. Immediate sensor scans revealed the Zarketh had maintained their positions, confident in their control of the situation. Multiple teleportation signatures detected within the education complex, Tactical reported. They're moving students deeper into their ships. Chen's expression hardened. Deploy quantum disruption fields. Let's see how their teleporters handle those. Launch phantom squadrons and begin electronic warfare protocols. The space around Eden 9 came alive with invisible energy fields that would render the Zarketh's transportation technology useless. Simultaneously, squadrons of Earth's most advanced fighter craft, the Phantoms, emerged from their carrier ships, their metamaterial hulls making them appear as nothing more than sensor ghosts. The first indication the Zarketh had that something was wrong came when their teleporters failed mid-transport. Their confusion was evident in their communications, which Earth's quantum computers easily decoded. Security breach. Unknown energy field detecting. Impossible readings. Human ships appearing from nowhere. Chen opened a channel to all Earth forces. The Zarketh thought they could threaten our children with impunity. They believed our peaceful approach to galactic relations indicated weakness. Today, we show them, and any who would threaten humanity's future, that peace was always a choice, not a necessity. Lieutenant Colonel Patel's teams were already moving, using personal quantum tunneling devices to bypass the Zarketh's defenses. These elite soldiers, equipped with powered armor that made them nearly invisible, began systematically infiltrating the alien vessels. "Admiral," Martin is called out, "we're receiving new transmissions from the Zarketh. They're requesting negotiations." Chen's smile held no warmth. "Tell them the time for negotiations was before they threatened our children. Now they deal with the consequences of their actions." The battle for Eden 9 was about to begin, and the galaxy would soon learn why humanity's apparent technological limitations had been the greatest deception in galactic history. The price of peace would be paid in full, and the currency would be the shattered illusions of Zarketh's superiority. The void around Eden 9 erupted in a display of military precision that would be studied in war colleges for generations to come. Earth's Phantom Squadron struck first, their quantum-shifted weapons passing straight through the Zarketh's supposedly impenetrable shields as if they didn't exist. "Target their propulsion systems," Lieutenant Commander Aisha Patel ordered from the lead Phantom. "Let's clip their wings before they realize what's happening." Her squadron moved like dancers through space, their neural-linked pilots executing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics itself. The Zarketh response was immediate but futile. Their energy weapons, devastating against conventional defenses, passed harmlessly through the Phantom fighters, their targeting systems unable to maintain a lock on the metamaterial-cloaked vessels. Aboard the Nemesis, Admiral Chen watched the battle unfold with clinical precision. Status on the infiltration teams. Lieutenant Colonel Patel reports they've secured access to 3 of the primary hostage holds, Martins reported. "The quantum tunneling devices are performing beyond expectations. The Zarketh had no defense against our phase-shifted troops." The special operations teams moved through the alien vessels like ghosts, their advanced armor rendering them invisible not just to sight, but to all known forms of detection. Each soldier carried weapons specifically designed to incapacitate rather than kill. Humanity would prove itself more civilized than its adversaries. Inside the largest Zarketh vessel, Lieutenant Colonel Maya Patel led her team through crystalline corridors. The alien architecture was beautiful, but her focus remained on her neural display, showing the positions of captured human children. "Remember," she sub-vocalized to her team, "non-lethal takedowns only. We're here to rescue, not revenge." Though privately, she knew revenge would come later, in other forms. The rescue operation proceeded with mechanical efficiency. Quantum disruption fields prevented the Zarketh from moving their hostages, while precision strikes from Earth's fleet systematically disabled the alien vessel's critical systems. In the space battle above, the true extent of humanity's technological advancement became apparent. The Zarketh's attempts to call for reinforcements met sophisticated quantum jamming that turned their communications into useless static. Their weapons, formidable by galactic standards, proved ineffective against Earth ships' phase-shifted hulls. "Admiral," Martin is called out, "we're detecting power surges in the Zarketh flagship. They appear to be charging their primary weapon array." Chen's response was immediate. "Deploy the gravity lance." The Nemesis' bow opened like a blooming flower, revealing a weapon that represented the pinnacle of human scientific achievement. The gravity lance fired a concentrated beam of exotic particles, creating a localized disruption in space-time itself. The Zarketh flagship's power core, caught in the distortion, simply ceased to exist, leaving the massive vessel dead in space. "All rescue teams report success," Tactical announced. 3,247 students and faculty secured. Medical teams are beginning preliminary assessments. The battle had lasted less than 30 minutes. The Zarketh fleet, pride of their empire, hung powerless in space, their crews trapped aboard their own vessels by the same technology they had planned to use against the human colony. Admiral Chen opened a channel to the Zarketh command ship. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. Your forces are disabled. Your hostages are freed. Your options are now very limited." The response came not in words, but in images, the Zarketh commander's form rippling with patterns that their translators identified as expressions of shock and disbelief. "Impossible," the alien finally transmitted. "Your species, your technology level, all our intelligence, was exactly what we wanted you to believe," Chen finished. "A deception maintained for precisely this kind of situation. Now shall we discuss the terms of your surrender?" As medical ships began arriving to care for the rescued children, Lieutenant Colonel Patel's teams continued securing the Zarketh vessels. Each alien crew member they encountered showed the same expression of stunned realization. They had catastrophically underestimated humanity's capabilities and resolve. The battle for Eden 9 would become a turning point in galactic history, but the war was not yet over. As Admiral Chen prepared to contact Earth with news of their victory, she knew this was just the beginning. The Zarketh Empire would need to learn a lasting lesson about the consequences of threatening human children. News of the battle at Eden 9 spread through the Zarketh Empire like wildfire. Their military command, long accustomed to technological superiority, struggled to comprehend the defeat, but humanity wasn't finished revealing its capabilities. Deep within Earth's lunar research complex, Dr. Samira Hassan stood before the assembled military leadership, presenting the next phase of humanity's response. Behind her, holographic displays showed the deployment of thousands of autonomous defense platforms throughout human space. "Project Guardian Angel is now fully operational," she announced, her voice carrying the weight of decades of secret development. Each platform contains a quantum AI core capable of predicting and countering any known form of attack. The Zarketh won't be threatening any more of our colonies. The defensive grid represented only a fraction of humanity's hidden technological arsenal. For generations, Earth had maintained the appearance of a relatively young spacefaring civilization, while secretly preparing for exactly this type of confrontation. Admiral Chen, attending via quantum link from the Nemesis, added her perspective. "The Zarketh Empire is already receiving our message. Their attack on Eden 9 has cost them not just military assets, but also their reputation. Other species are beginning to question their dominance." Intelligence reports confirmed her assessment. Throughout the galaxy, news of the Zarketh defeat had sparked a diplomatic crisis. Species that had lived under their shadow began quietly reaching out to Earth, seeking alliances. In orbit around Eden 9, the captured Zarketh vessels provided a wealth of technical data. Dr. Hassan's teams discovered that much of their supposedly advanced technology was actually borrowed or stolen from other civilizations. The Zarketh's true strength had been in maintaining an illusion of invincibility, an illusion that humanity had shattered. "They're mobilizing their main fleet," Commander Martinez reported, studying real-time intelligence feeds. 700 vessels, moving toward their border with human space. Admiral Chen's response surprised the Zarketh leadership monitoring their communications. "Let them come. Every light year they travel brings them further from their supply lines and deeper into our sensor grid." The true extent of human military preparation became apparent as the Zarketh fleet advanced. Hidden sensor arrays, disguised as dormant comets or asteroid clusters, tracked their every movement. Quantum entanglement communicators, technology the Zarketh had thought impossible, allowed human forces to coordinate their responses instantly across vast distances. Lieutenant Colonel Patel, now coordinating ground forces across multiple colonies, implemented the next phase of Earth's defense. "Activate the Aegis Protocol," she ordered. Across human space, seemingly civilian structures transformed, revealing sophisticated defense systems that had been hiding in plain sight for decades. The Zarketh's first major offensive ended before it truly began. Their fleet, approaching the border of human space, encountered what appeared to be a simple early warning network. Instead, They found themselves caught in a web of quantum disruption fields that rendered their ship's primary systems useless. Interesting, Dr. Hassan observed, watching the data streams. They still haven't realized that their fundamental understanding of quantum mechanics is flawed. Their entire technological base depends on principles we disproved 50 years ago. As the Zarketh fleet struggled to cope with their ship's systems failures, Earth unveiled another layer of its defenses. Massive carriers emerged from hyperspace, launching swarms of autonomous combat drones. These machines, guided by quantum AIs, could predict and counter enemy tactics before they were even executed. The tide of war had turned decisively. The Zarketh Empire, which had terrorized younger civilizations for centuries, found itself facing an opponent that had anticipated and prepared for their every move. Their attack on Eden 9, intended to demonstrate their power, had instead exposed their vulnerabilities. As Earth's forces systematically dismantled the Zarketh fleet's offensive capabilities, Admiral Chen prepared for the final phase of the operation. The time had come to demonstrate why threatening human children had been the Empire's final, fatal mistake. "All units, prepare for Operation Starbreak," she commanded. "Let's show them what happens when you mistake patience for weakness." Throughout human space, hidden shipyards and production facilities began activating, revealing the true scale of Earth's military-industrial capacity. The message to the Zarketh Empire was clear. Humanity's apparent technological limitations had been a choice, not a necessity, and that choice had just been revoked. The final confrontation between humanity and the Zarketh Empire took place in a system they had once considered their most secure stronghold. The massive space station orbiting their homeworld, a structure they had used to intimidate countless species, now faced the full might of Earth's unveiled military power. Admiral Chen stood on the Nemesis's bridge, watching as the combined human fleet dropped out of quantum space. The sight was magnificent. Thousands of ships, from nimble destroyers to massive dreadnoughts, each representing a different aspect of humanity's hidden capabilities. "Final status report," she commanded. "All ships in position," Martinez confirmed. "Guardian Angel network fully deployed. Quantum AI cores synchronized. The Zarketh home defense fleet is moving to intercept." The enemy fleet was impressive. Nearly 2,000 vessels arranged in their traditional battle formation. Under normal circumstances, such a force would have been overwhelming. But these were not normal circumstances. "Open a channel to their command," Chen ordered. "Let's give them one last chance." The holographic display flickered to life, showing the Zarketh High Commander. Its crystalline form pulsed with patterns of aggression and defiance. "You dare threaten our homeworld?" The alien's translated voice resonated. "We have ruled the stars for millennia. Your species is barely out of its cradle." Chen's response was measured, calm. "We're not here to threaten. We're here to educate. Your empire's practice of terrorizing younger civilizations ends today. Your attack on our children at Eden 9 showed us that you cannot be trusted with power." The Zarketh fleet launched its attack, unleashing a barrage that would have annihilated any conventional force. But humanity's ships simply shifted phase, the energy weapons passing harmlessly through their metamaterial hulls. "Activate the Prometheus protocol," Chen commanded. Across the human fleet, quantum drives spooled up in perfect synchronization. The space around the Zarketh fleet began to warp and twist as thousands of localized gravity fields intersected. Their ships, caught in the distortion, found themselves unable to maintain formation. Dr. Hassan's voice came through the quantum link from Earth. "The gravity web is stable, Admiral. Their ships are effectively neutralized." The display of power was deliberate. Humanity could have destroyed the Zarketh fleet, but that wasn't the message they wanted to send. Instead, they demonstrated complete technological superiority without firing a single destructive shot. "Your weapons are offline," Chen informed the Zarketh commander. "Your shields are down. Your communications beyond this system are blocked. Now, shall we discuss the future of galactic civilization?" The negotiations that followed would reshape the galaxy. Representatives from dozens of species, many of them former victims of Zarketh aggression, gathered to witness the formation of a new galactic order. In the Great Hall of the Zarketh space station, now under human control, Admiral Chen presented the terms. The Galactic Protection Accord has three fundamental principles. First, the strong do not prey upon the weak. Second, technological advancement must be paired with ethical development. And third, the targeting of any species' children is forbidden, punishable by immediate military intervention. The Zarketh, faced with the complete dismantling of their empire, had no choice but to agree. Their role in the galaxy would be diminished, their military disbanded, their technology carefully monitored. Lieutenant Colonel Patel, standing guard during the ceremonies, couldn't help but appreciate the irony. They thought they were punishing an inferior species, she remarked to her team. Instead, they awakened a sleeping giant. The children of Eden 9 returned to their homes, not as victims, but as symbols of the event that had transformed galactic society. Their story would be taught in schools across known space, a reminder that appearances could be deceiving, and that the most dangerous species in the galaxy was the one that chose peace until peace was no longer an option. Admiral Chen's final report to Earth's leadership was succinct. The Zarketh threat is neutralized. The galaxy is learning a new way forward. And humanity's children will never again be threatened by those who mistake our patience for weakness. As the human fleet prepared to return home, leaving behind a transformed galaxy, Chen found herself thinking of the future. Humanity had revealed its true capabilities not out of desire for power, but out of necessity to protect its own. The challenge now would be to guide the galaxy toward a more enlightened age, one where strength was measured not by the ability to intimidate, but by the wisdom to know when and how to use power. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the dawn of a new era, an era where the galaxy's children of all species could look to the future not with fear, but with hope.